So Iran, that wonderful beacon of justice and freedom and fairness in the world that is putting out so much positivity and so many good things and is wonderful to women and gays and all that good stuff, they're not happy with America's, the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman verdict. And the Iranian Foreign Ministry has released a statement on the verdict. The acquittal of the murderer of the teenage African American once again clearly demonstrated the unwritten but systemic racial discrimination against racial, religious, and ethnic minorities in the U.S. society. The court ruling has also seriously put under question the fairness of the judicial process in the United States. Now, many Americans actually would agree with that, and I agree with part of it, of course, but it's a little odd that Iran, where literally they stone women to death, you can be put to death for being gay. I mean, I don't have to go on and on the list of human rights violations over there, that they're doing this. Is this just all, over the top bravado because they want to do anything to make the U.S. look bad or divert attention from the nuclear situation?
This is the downside. As you said, many Americans would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. But the thing is because it comes from this type of source, then it's very easy to write it off. And then for the people who do agree with it or don't want things to change or don't want a certain level of fairness to rise in our country's judicial process, they'll say, well, you know where that came from? So now you agree with Iran, who has all of these human rights violations and intimidation factors for opponents of their government.
Yeah, that's a great point. So the people that are backing Zimmerman, you're actually strengthening.
We're terrorists now.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they do. They just clump us together. But I think you really have to pay attention to the statement itself. And they talked about the unwritten aspect of racial. Now, see, the thing is, in Iran, it's written. It's in the laws. So what they're saying is actually really, they have a point. They have a beef. Like if you're going to be this prejudiced and you're going to have this kind of a culture, be upfront about it, just like we are.
Right.
Because they are. And the fairness in their country, there's not a lot of fairness in their country. We claim fairness here. So I think they have a point in a sense, because they're saying, walk your walk, walk your talk. If you're going to talk a certain way, then really live that. But clearly your laws do not live up to these things you talk about in your country.
Right. Is that legit though in any way? Or is it, well, it's just not legit, right? It's just absurd because.
Yeah, but I was like,
not
really,
to say it doesn't have a degree of truth in the essence of it.
Yes, and I don't know if that was exactly their point, but when you look at the semantics of that statement, you're like, they do use specific words, written, unwritten. I mean, these are things to think about.
And it's highlighted by when people want to bring up the issue or want to change something that the way we do things in the country. It's shush, quiet. That was a jury. You cannot disparage the decisions of a jury. They're citizens. Why can't I disparage the decisions that citizens made, especially after I hear that one of them was completely off kilter and connecting with one particular side of this case and then completely disconnected with the other.
You're talking about B37,
yes,
I think.
I mean, it's an indication of what our society is in this country, and so then you can, why can't we point that out?
Yeah, do you think we're just reaping what we sow here in America now? Because we tell everybody what to do all the time, so even though it's absurd for us to take a directive on morals from Iran, I mean, this is what we push across everywhere, so we're just getting it back, right?
Absolutely, and everyone's got an opinion nowadays, so Iran's got an opinion also. But, I was thinking this the other day about, how everyone hates jury duty in this country. We hate it. We do everything we can to get out of it, right? And then a decision like this comes down and we get pissed about it. Well, if we really want our justice system to change, we need as citizens to take responsibility, and we need to start understanding that being a member of a jury is our responsibility and a great privilege in this country, that we actually we do have a jury system, and most of the time it works right, because 12 people, this was only 6 people on the Zimmerman thing, but 12 people come together and work it out and try to interpret the law the best we can. And I'm just kind of sick and tired of people pissing and moaning about juries and what happens to them.
It could clearly be a lot worse, because it could be like how it is in Iran.
Right, where they're just judges and they just do whatever they want. And we have those kind of...
And there's 2 people in the country who would do jury duty every week. My parents. If the jury summons comes, they're like, yes! They're excited.
Yeah.
I mean, they watch the judge shows, and then they watch the
judge
dramas, and then they grew up in a time when it was maybe as explicit as Iran's laws are against certain minorities.
Yes.
And they're like, I want to be on this jury. Give me the case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really funny. I was called in for jury duty a couple of months ago when I was living in New York still, and the entire time I kept thinking, I wanted to get out of it naturally, and because I'm not as good of a citizen as you want us all to be. But I kept thinking the entire time, could I plead comedian to them? Because I can't sit there and do this the way regular people are going to do it. Everything about me is going to try to make fun of the system, and I'm going to use this in a bit. You can't have that truth getting out there. And I thought, but needless to say, I didn't get picked. So there you go.